Okay, in this video, we're going to go through problem 25 on the final review. And so I see I have, for 25A, I have the following. So it says 2 cosecant theta plus 4 equals 3. I would instruct you to move the 4 over and then rewrite your problem. So you've got 2 cosecant theta equals -1. At this point, divide both sides by 2, and you have cosecant theta equals -1/2. Remember, cosecant and sine are reciprocal, so flip this over and you get a -2. -2 is beyond the range of sine, because remember, sine is from -1 to 1, and therefore you have no answer there. Okay, moving on to B. B says tan squared theta plus 7 equals 10. Subtract 7, and you have tan squared theta equals 3. Okay, you're going to take the square root of both sides. When you do that on the left, you get tan theta. Then on the right, you're going to get plus and minus radical 3. Okay, so since tan is sine over cosine, you're going to look for a first quadrant angle that has a sine of equal to √3/2. That's pi/3. You need 4 angles. Your angles will be pi/3, 2 pi/3, 4 pi/3, 5 pi/3, and we are done. Okay, moving to C. You want to get your trig function isolated. And when you do that, you're going to rewrite. You have sine theta equals -2√2/4. That is sine theta equals, you're going to reduce that to -√2/2. Okay, you should recognize that as being your favorite angle. It's my favorite angle. And your reference angle is pi/4, but you need sine to be negative, and sine is negative here and here. So our two angles are going to be 5 pi/4 and 7 pi/4. Okay, moving on to D. Start moving numbers away. Rewrite as a 9 minus 6 is 3. Divide by 3. You are getting cosine theta equals 1. At that point, you should think quadrantal angle, and the quadrantal angle is going to be at 0. Now, 0 is your best answer and not 2 pi. Because of this, they asked you that your angle has to be less than 2 pi. So 0 radians is your answer. Okay, moving down to E. I'm going to bring everything to the left and then set that equal to 0. This is going to be greatest common factor factoring. So you look at the term to your left and you say, what do they have? What do those two pieces have in common? You're going to pull out a cosine theta. Cotan theta minus 1 equals 0. And these are both factors. Set this factor equal to 0. Cosine theta equals 0. Those are going to be quadrantal angles. You're going to have 2 that have that value. And this is 3 pi/2. Then you're going to set this factor equal to 0. That's going to give you cotan of theta equals 1. And that'll equal 1 exactly where tan of theta equals 1. It's reciprocal function. And tan is positive and equal to 1 at pi/4 and at 5 pi/4. Okay, that brings us to F. So it looks like F is also greatest common factor factoring. So we're going to label that greatest common factor. I'll label that greatest common factor. Bring everything over to the left. It's going to give you cosine theta tan theta minus 2 tan theta equals 0. Look at the two terms on the left-hand side. Factor out what they have in common. That would be a tan theta. That's going to give me cosecant theta minus 2. Set your tan theta equal to 0. That's going to give you quadrantal angles because you know that tan is sine over cosine, and this is 0 over 1. So the values are going to be 0 and pi. Set the second factor equal to 0, and you get cosecant theta equals 2. Well, you know that cosecant and sine theta are reciprocals. Flip that puppy over. Okay, there's going to be two places where sine is equal to positive 1/2. One of them is here. One of them is here. Look on the unit circle, and you're going to grab pi over 6 and 5 pi over 6. Okay, let's keep going. And I have G. So going to G, I have the following. Okay, so this is going to be what we call hard factoring because the leading coefficient is not equal to 1. It's equal to a number, greater than 1. Bring everything over to the left because you don't want to necessarily introduce a negative for your leading coefficient. So that's going to be, now do this very carefully so that you have all your correct signs. Okay, decomposition is our mission. What multiplies to a negative 8, because I said negative 2 times a 4, and adds to a negative 2. That's this negative 2 in the middle. And my answers are negative 4 and a positive 2. We'll do that. So I decompose the middle term. Minus 4 cosine theta plus 2 cosine theta minus 2 equals 0. Now you could have changed all those trig terms into x's. I just did not this time. Underline your first pair. Give yourself a gap for that operation. Underline your second pair. Look only at the first pair. What do they have in common? They have a 4 cosine theta in common. Get that first two terms back by multiplying by cosine theta minus 1. Bring down this operation. On quizzes in the past, that's where mistakes have been made. What do they have in common? They have a 2. And notice that those factors in parentheses have to match. So your factors are 4 cosine theta plus 2. I got that from the multipliers outside those parentheses. And then cosine theta minus 1. So what are our answers? Cosine theta equals negative 1/2 and cosine theta equals 1. So if cosine theta equals negative 1/2, that's going to be at 2 pi over 3 and also at 4 pi over 3 because cosine's negative both places. This will be a quadrantal angle. It will be the angle 0 radians. So those are your three answers. 2 pi over 3, 4 pi over 3, and 0. I'll write them here for you. 2 pi over 3, 4 pi over 3, and 0 radians. Okay, let me just put a little barrier here so you can see where that problem ended. Okay, and let's keep going. This is also greatest common factor factoring, so this is greatest common factor. Bring everything over to one side, set equal to 0, factor out the tan theta, you get tan theta minus 1 for your other factor, set both factors equal to 0. If tan theta equals